RRQ, aka Exoplan. And here we go, deciding the fate of this group. RRQ on the left, Exoplan on the right. We're going to start off with Zorua in the center area. Now, we've seen RRQ's draft be very similar to what they played in their regional finals tournament. Loving it. This Lapras Blastoise combination is double defender on the side of RRQ. It's really become one of their signature selections. And Eeyore on the Zoroark is going to be a really solid damage coordinator. The tough part about this composition is, though, is getting support resources over towards Eeyore. Koopa's portals are going to be tough to line up in the huge mobility dive kind of options. However, it is possible, and this coordination has looked amazing so far this tournament. I do feel like it might be somewhat similar on the other side, trying to protect that Leafeon with some support and healing. You can, of course, kind of go a little bit more with Eldegoss, but I think neither of these teams are really choosing the best supports for their speedsters. They're kind of expecting to be a little bit more out on their own. Yeah, otherwise we expect, Blizzy or the or something. So I do expect that we're actually going to see some pretty similar playstyles overall. Oh, God, Sean, it always does so much damage at Swordblade. Yeah, it's absurd. It's like Leafeon having a lot of impact already. And there we go, Ethos.
The KO opener here. Ethos, I think, is a player we have not gotten the chance to talk about too much because Exoplan hasn't been on this main stage, but they are truly one of the best players here. And in the OC region, they look phenomenal in their regional finals run. I think definitely earning a lot of respect from a worldwide audience.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the entire region, to be honest. I mean, definitely not because I just have a terrible sleep schedule and I'm up at OCE times, but I'm just a fan of these players. I've been watching a lot of them compete for a very long time, and I think there's some incredible individual skill, especially for a smaller scene.
Yeah.
And wow, listen to this, all in the crowd.
Of course, we are part of the Greater Pokemon Championships, which is an amazing opportunity here, and these teams are trying to showcase the entire world and that they are trying to take full advantage of this opportunity. And I know we talked about it a lot at the top of the show. Just want to remind everyone who's listening, regardless of match score, if RRQ wins this, Orangutan wins this group, if Exoplan wins this, Nouns Esports wins this group. So truly, these two teams acting as champions for those two squads.
Such a cool, I've never seen that in almost any esport ever.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. A little bit of aggression with 4 stacking top of the side of RRQ. There's no way that Eldegoss escapes. Wait a minute. What an escape. I was wrong. That was very sneaky using that self-healing. But unfortunately, just escaping is not going to be protecting that tier 1 goal zone. Z4 is going to be pushing it down. That's going to be a lot of healing in return as well. And still this Eldegoss is not in a great spot. I don't think it really escapes. It's just trying to delay as long as possible.
An extremely small break, so definitely not getting the biggest score advantage maybe they could have RRQ in that position. However, in terms of Exoplan's composition, there's not a whole lot of late game scaling options. So giving over that little bit of extra XP is not too big of a problem. Regirock secured here by Ethos, though. The Wicked Blow Urshifu coming in clutch, and that's right, that is Nouns Esports cheering on that play.
Louder than anybody else. Louder than they are for their own team probably here. Ooh, trying to get the Solar Blade confirmed right there. Didn't quite get it. That is going to be pushing down pretty far, especially because they did take that tier 1. Even if it wasn't that much of an overdunk, that is going to be really helpful for building more space with this Regieleki.
Both of these Reggie fights have been pretty tame in terms of larger team fight maneuvers because no one has really hit that level 9 breakpoint to start getting those Unite moves. But finally, we are at that point now. Eeyore with a big engage. However, Ethos is able to escape that relatively safely. Not the same going to be there for the Eldegoss. Exoplan's Eldegoss knocked out by Eeyore with a great aggressive Zoroark play. This goal zone's brought down to 20. A few more stacks are going to be coming in for this Lapras, which of course is going to bring this goal zone down to try to get a bigger overdunk on this one because obviously they weren't able to do it in the top half.
Right, they're just building up a little bit by bit here. Regardless, though, they've got a pretty solid lead, about 60 points, and that's going to be a really nice little thing going into this kind of halfway point in the game. They're going to be threatening a huge overdunk there with just how much they've scored. And the fact is, they're still up by quite a few levels, and they really wanted to be up early. Like you said, there's not a lot that scales really heavily late for Exoplan, but also RRQ really wants to get late, especially with the Blastoise that is just literally, as I'm saying that, turning into a Blastoise. The fact that they're up this far ahead of the curve in making a Blastoise, I think they're going to be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, these Unite moves from Blastoise are going to be game-changing in a couple of these team fights starting here. Exoplan not having that early game presence like we were talking about, but I think that's most shown in how both of these goal zones are still up for the side of RRQ. When you are playing against a Hoopa, that needs to be priority number 1. Really breaking those goal zones and shortening that Hoopa's impact on the game. However, at this point, RRQ has been doing a lot of really fancy 4-player pushes into these paths where Exo doesn't expect it and taking the macro into their own hands.
All right, well, this is going to be one of the first real big team fights here. We are going to see the Hoop Unbound come out while there's a little bit of maybe a back score up on the top path. And that's going to be the Solar Blade, it looks like, taking the last hit on that Reggie Highs. But this fight is continuing. The chase is going down. Zoroark at almost no HP. And trying to escape, use the invincibility up in the skies, but not going to quite be able to get out, it looks like. And this is going to be, honestly, just trades on both sides.
I can't believe believe Ethos was able to get that KO, but it gets traded the other direction. Axew able to shut down that Urshifu. I don't think there was too much more value to be had from that team fight, so it's not like they would have had the chase down, but still, what a shutdown there. Very, very impressive from ExoClan, but a good comeback from RRQ in that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good comeback, but I feel like overall, just because EXO was so far behind, they might have come out a little bit ahead, or maybe not ahead, but at least it wasn't so bad for them. As you can see, it's starting to even up a little bit as far as EXP goes. Still a very considerable advantage, I would say, for RRQ, especially getting that objective, but things could start to go. If this is a brawl over and over, and hey, just like that, you know, you start taking this EXP one direction, and once again, this is a 1v3. Even if you can manage to take this, you're in a really scary spot. However, the Zorak might count for more than a one. The Unite comes out as well. All right, backing up, not trying to overextend this time.
A good liquidation finds its target on the Zorak, but great play by Axew to get in front of those watery bullets, slow down that damage going the other direction. Unfortunately, Ethos goes down. A great little Perish Song combination. The Alolan Ninetales and the Lapras both having slowing effects really makes that Urshifu stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're going to defeat that Regieleki before it makes it towards their goal zone. Luckily for ExoClan, though, they were able to break that bottom goal zone and still have their own. So this bottom Regi fight might be a little bit of an advantage state for them. However, it's still a risk to take this fight at all. We're headed into that 3-minute mark. If you want to expend Unite moves in this situation, that means you're going to have to try to work so hard to get those back.
Yeah, and you don't want to run into a situation where maybe like they spend one Unite and you don't spend any, and it's just like this weird, awkward spot. But it does look like there's going to be a little bit of commitment, at least to try to take these Altaria. Both teams starting to see that they are both there, at least challenging this. There's a ton of time, though, and it looks like it's going to be ExoClan that's going to be the first to commit to taking down this Registeel. But 3 in the wings here, trying to at least get the steal. I don't know if they're able to win the fight, and it looks like they're actually going to try to back up. I don't know if Luna's going to be able to get out of there in time. A great knee look, and that will be... Hey, wait, was that a Unite? That was like a really fast... No, was that? No.
Not
okay,
a Unite.
Why was it so fast?
I believe it was an X-Speed play from the Lapras, so a really good outplay there to make it out of danger in that situation. And again, really good trading of that liquidation to absorb that damage. Now we're into that final team fight. No one using those Unite moves, so no one able to bait it out from the other side, which means we're going to go into an honest fight with both of these teams being a full set of Unites.
All right, yeah, that was like the fastest lap I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna go back and get a little healing, and this is always scary. When you're against the Hoopa, doing the drawn-out fights here is never in your favor, because this full healing happens on all these tanky Pokemon over and over and over, and even if you get in all this harass, though it's way more permanent on you than it is on the other team until you can get that first big pick. So we gotta see some sort of heavy initiation.
And look at how afraid of a flank ExoClan is. They have Jeb, their Umbreon, their tank player, playing so far back because they are worried about someone coming from behind. And there it is. The Lapras is actually going to be charged in the other direction, but that means that Ethos can start engaging this fight around the start there. Blastoise rapid spins into the composition. However, ExoClan was able to escape mostly unscathed. Mepco taking a lot of damage. Ethos again in a tough spot, and the Perish Song is going to find the knockout. A Solar Blade does a ton of damage, and Inteleon finds one as ExoClan is trading favorably with a huge stun. That Alolan Ninetales Avalanche Blizzard combination was huge.
Only 2 left on the side of ExoClan, only 3 left on the other side, but there's less than 1 minute remaining, and RRQ knows that they do not need to force this Rayquaza. We're going to see at least one go back. This is Axew, and there's a little bit of just a threat of this back scoring, which is very, very important when you have a lead like this. I feel like RRQ is playing this perfectly, just at least threatening that tier 1 so that they can't commit everything they have to Rayquaza to make this comeback.
Axew still has a Alolan Ninetales Unite move as well, so if it comes down to a big team fight in terms of damage is secure, Alolan Ninetales is going to be able to hold on to it. However, they're just playing defense around that top goal zone, trying to prevent any style of comeback. We only got 20 seconds left in the game, and another knockout from Lapras. Great engaged by RRQ. Rayquaza brought down to about half HP, but RRQ is winning team fights across the map. Axew finally launches the snow globe, but they get a huge knockout there, and even grab the Rayquaza. Great play by Eeyore on the Zorak to secure that major objective, and RRQ are going to start our match 1-0.
Wow, that was so well played. Yeah, just getting a little bit of